Hi, guys. Welcome back to another topic and discussion. I don't know what's going on, but it's like I'm starting to feel a bit baffled, confused by this discourse about pretty privilege versus ugly privilege and the downside of pretty privilege. What is basically happening is like, obviously, we're on a planet and we're women, and we're is the two genders, and there's different, what's the word, like you're being perceived and treated differently based on how you look and how you present yourself on the planet. And I find it fascinating when everyone get the chance to like speak about their treatment on the planet, their perception, strictly based on how you're perceived beauty standard wise. If you're considered conventionally pretty, you're treated differently versus if you're considered ugly or average. The thing that's annoying my soul is there's people speaking their mind and their experiences, and then there's other people telling them that's not real. So this particular, let's focus in particular in the fact that there's pretty women saying there's the downside of pretty privilege, right? They're saying like because they're pretty, men feel like they're stupid, men don't listen to them, men treat them, pretend to want to be with them, some men don't approach them. There's constant being stared at, attention. People are constantly trying to talk to you, and then if you don't respond, people say you have an attitude. So they're just saying, like, being a pretty girl walking around the planet is not all that. It's obviously the privilege is amazing, but they're also saying there's a downside. And then there's women now that are not considered pretty, don't have pretty privilege. They're the ones saying it. They are considered unattractive conventionally, whether it's because they're overweight or certain features, whatever it is, they're not considered attractive. They're now coming online telling the pretty girls who are saying, "Hey, being pretty have its downside." They're now telling the girls like, "No, it don't. It's not a downside because you're a pretty girl. It's just you're a woman, and men treat women badly. Men sexualize all women. Men holler at all women, men, uh, everything, right? So they're basically saying to the pretty girls, like, yo, there ain't no downside. Just get over it. You're just a woman and we're all treated the same. This is the thing that confused me. Because if we're all women and we're treated the same, why do we have categories? Do you understand what I'm saying? If we're all women and we're all treated the same, then we wouldn't have a category. There wouldn't be no such thing as a pretty girl, a ugly girl, and an average girl. The fact that there are categories means that the experiences for each category are going to be different. Obviously, there's going to be overarching themes of similarities in the experience. But each particular experience has to be different, or else there wouldn't be a category. So here you are, sorry, in the category that's considered ugly, telling the woman in the pretty category that what she's telling you ain't real. It's the same. If it was the same experience for the ugly girl and the pretty girl, y'all would all be in the same category, right? So two things can be true at once. Why are we still here in a society trying to convince other people what they see and believe isn't real? And now the ugly girl is telling the pretty girl, you're wrong. Everybody treats the same way. Why can't it be two things? Like, unattractive woman experience, even though they said there's ugly privilege, they experience the downside of being ugly. Average woman experience the downside of being average. Pretty woman experience the downside of being pretty. Which is the overarching theme. Women on the planet experiences certain things because we're women. Duh. Men on the planet experience certain things because they're men. That's an obvious. But for you to sit in your house and pretend that women in each categories women in each categories aren't treated differently is insanity. And let's not pretend. Okay, let's try to analyze the experience of a pretty girl versus the ugly girl. based on what I've been observing and watching and listening to different version, it's two separate experiences happening, but it's also similar experiences. They're still women. So there's a women avatar walking around the planet. Women are gonna experience similar things. But the pretty girl is telling you there's also the downside. Don't just think because someone is pretty, they're experiencing everything positive. People are coming for them and people are insulting them. People are assuming things about them. Sometimes men don't talk to them. Sometimes men are competing with them. Girls are jealous of you. I watched this woman talking about, oh, no one is jealous of you. It's in your head. People are jealous of you because it's called the halo effect. People think because you look pretty and you're attractive that apparently life is easy for you. So it's like some people are triggered and treat you badly because they feel like, yo, everybody treats you nicely, so I'm gonna treat you bad. It's a weird thing. So all the pretty girls are saying is like, yo, it's yes, it's a privilege, but just be aware that don't think I'm just walking around happy all the time and everyone's just like treating me well. The unattractive girl is also saying like when you're ugly, people are teasing you, people are giving you the same amount of attention, but like it's like polar opposites. It's like both women are receiving, let's say, the same amount of attention, but it's being treated differently. Like the unattractive girl is saying like, yo, and I'm out there and these are women. There's some women that were like unattractive who got attractive, or some women that were attractive and got ugly, and they're telling you like, yo, when I was more unattractive societal wise, nobody held a door for me, no one looked at me, no one saw me. Men would just put a chair in front of me, my friends, and ignore me. So are we now to tell the ugly girl that's not true, that's not real, that's just how men treat every woman? No, we're all like validating that, like, because we've probably seen it or said like, yeah. But the pretty girl is also saying like, I also have certain issues, but yet we're telling the pretty girl, nah, you're lying, there's no issue. You see, it's that double standard. Is like we will more empathize with the victim, the people that we consider the victim or the underdog. If an unattractive girl comes on this thing and says, yo, I'm beautiful, everyone will support her. If she comes and say I'm ugly, everyone will tell her she's not ugly, she's beautiful. But if a pretty girl comes on here and say, yo, I'm so pretty, everyone is gonna tell her, yo, you're conceited, you're full of yourself. If the pretty girl comes in here and cries and says you're so ugly, oh, you're looking for attention. Do you understand? It's like I do agree that prettier, more attractive people, I feel like there's less validation for their feelings and their experiences because we're literally witnessing it in real time. Like the unattractive girl is telling the story, oh, like, yeah, that's true. The average girl tell their story like, yo, that's true. The pretty girl tell the story like, nah, ain't no such shit. We're all girls. It's the same shit. You ain't special. You ain't no different. Why is it so hard to listen to the pretty girl and validate her feeling and say, I can see that? If more than one of them are telling you this is their experience, it's like it's you're proving their point. Not because you're pretty, it doesn't even mean when you're telling someone your problem, they'll even listen to you. A lot of times when you have a pretty face and you're talking to people and you're telling them your feelings, they literally just looking at your face and smiling. And in their head, it's like, oh, she's so cute. Imagine you're crying and someone tells you like, oh, you look so pretty when you cry. I've seen that. Like, and the person's like, oh, thanks. It's like, but I am actually crying because I'm hurting. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, there is a fucking downside to being pretty. And of course, there's a downside to being ugly and average. I feel like everything has its yin and it's fucking yang. Am I insane? Like, are we crazy? Like, yes, every shit have a downside and an upside. Now, this one girl said to the pretty girl, well, would you choose to be ugly? And if you say no, then there is no downside. You can admit there's a downside to a privilege, but you are glorifying the privilege and still want the fucking privilege. Nobody's stupid. If there's three categories on the planet, the ugly category where the girl is telling you nobody opens the door for her, nobody looks at her. The average category where it's like, oh, depends on the day and how the vibe is. I could be treated well or I could be treated awkward. And then the pretty category, which is like, oh, people always hold the door for me, always look at me. No one is gonna feel stupid enough to say, let me choose the one where no one holds the door for me. Some people might choose the average. They're like, yo, I want to blend in. Sometimes I want to be seen. Sometimes I want to be seen. Some people may not choose to be pretty because they don't like full attention. But yes, most people are going to choose the avatar that gives you the best experience. My whole issue is why can't we listen to that avatar when it's telling us their experience? Now, on a sadder note, Someone was talking about the two documentary about like light skinned girl and dark skinned girls, like two documentary about it. And somebody said that I think the light skinned girl was saying like when you're light skinned, you're more of a prey to sexual predators because of how you look. And the girl that she's considered herself average looking and dark, she wasn't dark skin, she was brown skin to me, but she says she's dark skin. And she was like, that's not true, that makes no sense, why would you say that? Think about the girl that no one was really paying mind to, she's going to be more of a prey. You see that competition again. It's like two things can be true. Actually, I did see a study on that, and it did state that young girls that are considered conventionally pretty, men are drawn to them and they are being targeted even more. But on the flip side, yes, there's also studies to show that too. Like the girls that no one's really paying mind to, people are going to target them. So it's like two things can be true. Obviously, if you're the prettiest butterfly, most people are going to look at you and chase after you. So that's like a common kind of natural thing, which is disgusting because no one should be preyed at. But no one is saying that if you're a average looking butterfly that no one will prey after you, you're still a butterfly, right? So sometimes it's not about like right or wrong. It's just like, I guess my question is, why are these women in these three different fucking categories all debating and proving who has it worse amongst each other? If all of this treatment that these women are getting is based on the males in the society and the male gaze, if anything, men should be the one telling us why they treat people differently or stuff like that. But I'm just trying to ask, like, what are you trying to accomplish by each version of beauty and non-beauty competing and saying who has it worse? And then this one woman annoyed me because she was just like, it's not a pretty girl thing. It's just like you're a woman. We all get teased. We all get treated badly. Get over it. What was she trying to prove? And if the overall arching theme is that we all get treated the same, so aren't we all just getting along then? If we're all being treated the same, so when the pretty girl says she's treated bad, why are the ugly girls saying, yeah, that's true? Because that's me too. Why didn't the average girl say, yo, that's true, because that's me too? Why are they telling the pretty girl, nah, that's not true. It's nothing to do with being pretty. So if it's not to do with being pretty, and it's not to be doing ugly, and it's not to be average, it's just because we're women, why do we have the categories? And why can't all each categories just fucking get along then? And what is the purpose of this conversation? I would assume, generally speaking, if a pretty girl came out and said pretty girls are saying there's disadvantage to being the downside of being pretty and talking about their experiences, I would assume it was for like, oh, what could be a solution or what can we do about this, or just for people to resonate and what's the word, bond together. So if she said something you could relate to, how comes the average looking girl and the ugly girl didn't take the approach to say, oh, wow, I can relate because I experienced that too. Maybe it's not a pretty thing, it's a woman thing. Instead, you're bashing the pretty girl, basically telling she's lying and she's pretty much conceited for thinking there's any downside for being pretty when you guys are saying it's just a woman thing. It's very confusing. It doesn't fucking make any sense. And I just think we're all being delusional because we're not all experiencing the same fucking shit on the planet. It does not make sense that we're all pretending. We're all treating everybody differently based on how they look. We all treat everybody differently based on how they are. And then for this one annoying content creator on TikTok, oh my god, I cannot say her name. I cannot stand her. She's a pretty girl. You know what she fucking said? Oh, she's like, the pretty girls are just saying that to say it, and it's not true. There's no downside, and you just want to fit in, and you just think people are jealous of you because it's your mama told you. And damn, what did she say that pissed me off? Fuck, how can I not remember? I was so mad. But she was just like downplaying it, like it's not true. And I'm looking at her like, yeah, bitch, you benefited from pretty privilege, and you want to join the team with the uglies and the unconventional, so you could be on their side. You're a traitor. You're a goddamn traitor. It's crazy. Like, how can you not validate someone's feeling when you're experiencing the same privilege? So you're basically admitting that if someone has a pretty face, nothing they're saying is true. That's how I take it. I just feel like it validates the fact, like, you know, because you're pretty, nothing you're saying is taken true. So my point is, There are downsides to everything, and there's privileges to everything. Yes, pretty privilege outweighs all those privileges. If a privilege is something like it gives you opportunity, you don't have to do much, just be yourself. Even though, as I said in my other video, being pretty takes work and time and effort, and it's not just something you're born with. Because if you eat a bunch of McDonald's and pizza for a week and gain weight and pimples on your face, you're gonna lose that privilege. Anyways, so I'm not saying that no one would give up that privilege, but I'm just saying clearly you can't all pretend just because you're pretty, life is just easy. And if you rewatch a lot of these movies, because I was listening to the Taylor Swift song recently, when she's like, "You belong to me," like she was saying, if you could see, I'm the one you deserve. The guy had a whole girlfriend already. In the video, the girlfriend was like the pretty girl, the cheerleader. Taylor Swift was playing like the geek girl, and she wants the boyfriend. And she's telling the boyfriend, "Your girl isn't good enough for you. I wish you could see who I am." You see what I'm saying? We don't even look at it like that. Like in the movies, we're all rooting for someone to take away the pretty girl's boyfriend because in our head, she's pretty. She doesn't deserve her boyfriend. Oh, this is what the content creator said. Talk about a personality will take you a long way more than your pretty privilege. Anyway, so y'all need to stop. And I wanted to say to her, so bitch, give up your pretty privilege then and just focus on your personality. That's bullshit. Personality ain't gonna take you anywhere if people don't even want to fucking look at you or listen to you. It's the same shit. Like sometimes you're pretty, you have a great personality, you're smart, and nobody even want to listen to you because they feel like you don't have nothing to say. There's no, you have to like prove yourself. So it's the same shit. So let me stop pretending this world about who personality take you far. Your fucking vessel take you far. Because if your vessel ain't presenting a certain way, nobody gives a fuck if you're funny. And I know for a fact that same woman is not out here just because of her fucking personality. Because her face is what she used on her videos. Because she has a pretty face. And then people are like, oh, she has a personality. So stop acting like it's not a fucking stepping stone. And it doesn't put your face, it doesn't put you out there. You know what I'm saying? My point is, stop bashing people's experiences and fucking listen and try to learn and then come together and see, okay, now what? Now what? If we're all just saying we're all being treated in a certain way because of men or because of society, like now what? But stop, what's the word? No, not evaluated. What's the word? Devaluing, I guess. Stop devaluing people's feelings and invalidate it and telling people what they're experiencing isn't real. And we got to stop this delusion where we're all just cheering on for the fat and unattractive and average, and then you all just putting down the athletics and the pretty and the so-called good looking. There's some kind of bias to me happening there too, because it's like this, I feel like it's like we all want to cheer on the average and the below average because that's something you can attain or you feel better than them. I feel like you don't want to cheer on the people that are above average or considered attractive because you can't attain to be that. But that's not the way the fucking shit works. Humans are doing the shit they got to do to survive on this planet. You got to cheer on everyone and you got to listen to everyone's feeling. And at the end of the day, there is fucking downside to being pretty. Duh. It's just fucking obvious. But it doesn't mean that the upsides isn't worth it. It's just common sense. Everything have a yin and a yang. So I don't know. I just had to come here and say that, and I hope y'all get what I'm saying. What's y'all fucking thoughts? Like, what do y'all think? Do y'all really believe because you're pretty there is no downside? Do y'all really believe because you're ugly? It's I don't even know. It's all there's privilege to being ugly, or it's all horror, or do you feel like the middle people in the average bracket are the ones that are just like cosplaying between both sides and I don't know, pretending that they can't see it. Because if they can't see it, why is everybody jealous of the pretty girl who's a cheerleader boyfriend? Clearly, there's something there we are all seeing. But why do we villainize her and it's okay to see her life being ruined? That is not okay. And we got to stop showing that in these movies. Okay, guys, have a blessed day. Please let me know what y'all think below. All right, bye.